Okay, Mark 13. This one is the parallel to Matthew 24. So it's going to read like that. There may be a few details here or there that we'll get extra, we'll see. Okay, then, verse 1. Then, as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples said to him, Teacher, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here? And Jesus answered and said to him, Do you see these great buildings? Not one stone shall be left upon another that shall not be thrown down. Okay? And this actually was fulfilled, but it's one of those double prophecies, so there's another one coming. And with destruction, and it's just an end times thing. It's in the Old Testament as well. It's just there's a lot of stuff about that. Okay. Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter, James, John, and Andrew asked him privately, Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign when all these things will be fulfilled? And Jesus, answering them, began to say, Take heed that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and will deceive many. But when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be troubled, for such things must happen, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be earthquakes in various places, and there will be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. But watch out for yourselves, for they will deliver you up to councils, and you will be beaten in the synagogues. You will be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony to them. And the gospel must first be preached to all the nations. But when they arrest you and deliver you up, do not worry beforehand or premeditate what you will speak. But whatever is given you in that hour, speak that, for it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit. Now, brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child, and children will rise up against parents and cause them to be put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. Okay, there's another clear verse about that need. And then this obvious persecution here in betraying all of that. So that's what happens, and nobody wants to talk about it, right? There's a video I'm going to make next week about what they're thinking is going to happen, but I'll do that. It'll be a surprise. Okay, so okay, and then here again, somewhere in here, it might have it in here and it might not, but where he says, when, like the generation that's there when these things begin to happen is the same one that will be there until the end. Well, that's this time period. It wasn't back then when he was there, when that stuff started happening. That stuff happened, but that will repeat anyway. But it's the one that sees the beginning of these things. That's the same generation that will see them end, and that generation is us. So anyway, there's so much stuff going on over there that's being fulfilled. It's not even funny. Everything in Matthew 24 is coming now. It's happening already. So it's coming to pass. Okay, 14. So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing where it ought not, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the rooftop not go down into the house, nor enter to take anything out of his house. And let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing babies in those days. And pray that your flight may not be in winter, for in those days there will be tribulation such as has not been since the beginning of the creation. Which God created until this time, nor ever shall be. And unless the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he chose, he shortened the days. Then if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or look, he is there, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will rise and show signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. But take heed, see, I have told you all things beforehand. So, 24, but in those days after the tribulation, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars of heaven will fall, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then he will send his angels and gather together his elect from the four winds, from the farthest part of earth to the farthest part of heaven. So here we see this ingathering, right, happens at this time, which is the end of it all, not the beginning of the 7 years. Okay, I did videos on that too. All right. 28. Now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also, when you see these things happening, know that it is near at the doors. Assuredly, I say to you, that's the thing here, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Okay, so the time now, not then, all right? Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. All right, 32. But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. And some people would love to change this and say, but of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only that one YouTuber who thinks they know when the date is. If you've ever seen these things. Okay, yeah, but only the Father. Okay, that's it. Nobody else knows. There is no point in date setting. And I don't care how many people claim to have had a dream or figured out some formula or whatever. You're not going to know. And that's how he wanted it, for a reason. Okay, 33. Take heed, watch, and pray, for you do not know when the time is. All right? You do not know. It is like a man going to a far country who left his house and gave authority to his servants and to each his work, and commanded the doorkeeper to watch. Watch therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, at midnight, at the crowing of the rooster, or in the morning. lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to all, watch. Okay, so the point here is to do what? Try to figure out the day? No. But to watch and pray. Okay, I mean, this is something that we need to do. We aren't expected, we're told we won't know the day, but we're supposed to watch and pray. All right, not just watch, but pray. And anyway, when you watch, you're watching the signs of the times. You're watching how close it's coming to these final events on the world scene, okay? Just it's getting closer. The end times are here, but there's a progression of events where it escalates, and we're supposed to watch. So we know, and it's not catching us off guard like it says here. It's not, you're not hit between the eyes like a deer in the headlights. So, it's good to know what to expect so you know how to navigate in your life. All right, so here, that's the whole thing, is to keep a watch and be busy, do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing in your ministry. To each his work. And some people might watch more, like it says here. So watch, therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming. We're not going to know exactly, but we're supposed to watch anyway. Keep watch. And then this is symbolic, the different times of day. And this rooster was in the wee hours of the morning, and then we have the regular morning. Okay. Unless coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to all, watch. So what I say to you was them, I say to all, watch. We have to watch, okay? So here, this is the danger. People, if they don't keep watch, they start to get comfortable. They start to get complacent, and they start to look for other things in, different ways, and they start falling asleep. And so much of the church today is sleeping. And, the parable of the 10 virgins is also, they fell asleep. So it's so important to not be sleeping, okay? Or everything will be a surprise. So, and I don't mean physically, of course, I mean spiritually sleeping. That's what it means. Okay, so this one is just going to be short, and that's okay, because I want to separate this. All right, I'll be right back.